All right, welcome back everyone to Invest the Rest. Today's video is all about the high yield ETF dividend account update. If you've been following along, some of the funds that I have in this account announced their last dividends for January this past Wednesday. My videos have been a little light over the past week because I've been traveling, but the main focus is a January monthly wrap up for this fund as all dividends have been paid that we're going to receive in January, and then also an outlook into the months ahead, including the addition of a new fund to my portfolio. So let's jump right into it here. As you can see on the screen, our monthly goal, $650 a month was the goal, and we did not reach that. Okay, we were only paid $533.83 in the month of January. If I come down here to the January 2025 table, we were waiting on NVDY, PLTY, and MAXY, all paying on January 31st, but announcing on either the 27th or the 29th this past week. NVDY announced an 83-cent dividend, which is a little bit lower than previous dividends, especially in December, where they paid $1.18. PLTY still a very respectable dividend payment of $2.98, but still lower than that $3.34 payment in December of 2024. Why do I compare these payments to December of 2024? Well, that's because that's how I made my basis. That's how I made the goal for this portfolio, for this strategy. Because in December, the same portfolio would have made $648.99 in dividend payments. This month, January 2025, I only made $533.83. Maxi, MAXI, also quite a bit lower than anticipated, 0.14 or 14 cents per share. Obviously, in December, they paid $1.67, and that really hurt the projections overall. If I were to put $1.67 into the payment for Maxi, making it comparable with December of 2024, we would be up from $533 to $579 or $580. A little bit closer to our goal, but not quite. And that's because all of the ETFs on average paid lower in the month of January than they did in December. I feel it's because it's been a very rocky start, I should say, to 2025. And I'm really looking forward to February of 2025, which I have to change right here because I didn't have it in the table correctly. So what you'll see down here in the February table, QDTE, highlighted 4 different times. Why is that? Well, let's go back up here to the main table. QDTE is also added to the holdings of the main table. Now, before I get into this about portfolio expansion, obviously this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video and all of my videos are for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, understand what you're investing in before you invest in it. Okay, so QDTE, I plan to add QDTE to the portfolio. QDTE is a round hill ETF that is focused on high yield dividend payments. However, QDTE pays a weekly dividend instead of a monthly dividend like the rest of the funds in this portfolio. So coming down here to the February tracker, the monthly tracker of every payment for all of our funds in the portfolio, QDTE will pay 4 separate payments over the course of February. All the other funds will continue paying a single monthly dividend. Obviously in January, NVDY and PLTY paid twice, and that's just because YieldMax pays every week. They're on a weekly rotation throughout all their funds. January was a longer month, and so they could sneak that 5th payment in there. As you can see, because they paid NVDY and PLTY late January, they start the month with Coney, and NVDY and PLTY will be late February. So that's what the February total, 2025 total dividend payment tracker down here is looking like. Going back up to the main table, $533 and we did suffer a loss of $270 in capital loss. Now, I can't stress enough, remember, this is unrealized capital loss. I have not liquidated this portfolio. I just like to track it to know if I'm net positive or net negative on any given day if I were to liquefy all of my assets in this portfolio on that day. Okay, but I haven't suffered those losses yet. It's kind of a hypothetical, but I always like to keep my eye on it. As you can see, the funds that suffered the most amount of loss and actually contributed to probably 80 or 90% of that $270 is, we all know, if you track the stock market, NVDY is down significantly. So they lost this portfolio. They lost me $216 in capital loss. And then SMCY also lost $134 in capital loss. So that right now results in a total return of minus 13%. Again, this return column, keep in mind, factors in the dividends I've earned to date and the capital loss that I would hypothetically incur if I were to sell. So NVDY as a whole would be down 13%, and then SMCY as a total would be down about 8%. That's the bad. You know, sometimes these funds, they're exposed to a lot of risk on the low side. If in a terrible market, they can suffer quite a bit of loss on the price of the fund itself. You'll see down here that even though NVDY's dividend was somewhat lower than the previous month, they still paid a very respectable dividend. And that goes for PLTY, SMCY, which paid $1.70. You know, if we look up here, December SMCY paid $2.35, but it didn't go to zero. The dividend still paid monthly, and that's the strategy for this portfolio, is that monthly dividend income. If you look at the positives, PLTY, right, it's up 8.43% total. We've seen a 12%, a $12 loss in our share price of PLTY total, right, across 15 shares, just under $1 a share. But we've gained $98.57 in dividends. So as a whole, PLTY is up 8.43%. Same for CONY or Coney, $9.16% in the positive, $62.54 in dividends, and then a hypothetical $29.25 in capital gain. Again, I haven't seen that money in my account. The only money that's deposited into my account are the dividends. So we would be down, if we were to factor in our monthly dividends, $533.83, minus the $270.29 that we would hypothetically lose if we sold on Monday, we would have a net gain of $263.54. However, please keep in mind that we're really positive $533.83 because we haven't incurred those unrealized capital losses, or that 270. But I think it's very important to keep track of that. Now, QDTE, as I stated, they pay weekly. I plan to buy on Monday 13 shares. I'm basing my cost basis off of close on Friday, which was $39.88 per share. Hopefully that drops a little on Monday so I can get in at a good price. That'll bring my total invested for QDTE up to $518, or 4.94% of my portfolio. That's using the $533 I earned in January to expand the portfolio and continue to earn additional money in February. So eventually, as we continue to expand this portfolio, the monthly goal will continue to increase, right? It was $650 to start out with our initial $10,000. And as this account grows to $12,000, $15,000, $20,000 in assets, that monthly goal is going to continue to increase. And you're really going to start to see that snowball effect. After we earn money in February from our dividends that will be paid in February, I will probably buy more QDTE for the beginning of March. so that I can get my percent of portfolio up to match the other funds in this account. Again, because I do prioritize diversity and I want all the funds in this account to be as even as possible as far as percentage of portfolio. So I'll continue to buy maybe another 10 or 15 shares, depending on the price of QDTE at the end of February, to get that percent of portfolio higher than, let's say 7 or 8% to match the other funds here. Now, again, 13 shares entering the count on Monday, as I already showed you. QDTE is gonna have 4 weekly payments once a week in the month of February. So I'm looking forward to that. And you'll see the total invested, $10,503. If QDTE drops a little bit with the money in my account, I might be able to squeeze another share in there. But right now, that's what I have invested. I'm going to keep the goal for the month of February the same, $650 per month. Now, one thing I did want to go over quickly, not to give away future videos of my other accounts, but I'm going to switch over to the summary tab here and zoom in a little bit. The dividend account, including unrealized gains, okay, if I were to liquidate today and take those losses, right, we're at $263.54. My low to medium risk index growth account, is at a total gain of $250. And then my options account, and this is all starting January 2nd with $10,000 in each account, January 2nd until now, the first month of 2025, my options account is up to $759.27 in profit. So across all 3 accounts, across $10,000 each, $30,000 total, we are up to $1,272.96. Again, in the dividend account, that is including unrealized losses. That is also including unrealized losses in the growth account. If I weren't to include those losses, any unrealized losses or gains, I should say, are factored into this summary because I want to keep a very close eye on where I am real time if I were to liquidate at any point on any given day. So if you haven't checked out my options videos or my option account updates, I highly recommend it. Check it out. I'm having a lot of fun. The growth and the dividend accounts are more passive, right? The dividend accounts, all I do is record the dividend. The growth account, I just let it sit there. Very passive investing. If you want to get into more active investing, check out what I'm doing in my options account. I'm having a lot of fun experimenting with different put and call contracts and obviously making quite a bit more money than the growth in the dividend accounts. Now that's through the month of January. I hope it continues into February and beyond, but that is the whole purpose of my videos. Coming up with different strategies, starting out with $10,000 and seeing how high I can get them to go. Now again, not everyone has 10 grand. Not everyone has 5 grand. If you have 1,000, you have 100, you can do the same strategies just with a lower amount of money. Don't let the amount of money you have, whether it's investing strategies I use or your own, don't let that limit you. You have to start out somewhere. That snowball effect will eventually catch up with you and really start to balloon your portfolio if you're successful, right? And that's why I always say, don't take my word at it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm experimenting. I'm not an expert, but I'm giving it a try. I'm trying to make, a better financial future for myself and my family. And I'm just seeing what I can do in a very conservative manner so I don't lose a lot of money. And I only buy what I'm comfortable with buying. So keep that in mind. Check out my options account update, which will probably come out tomorrow, and my growth account update, which will come out on Monday. So going back to the dividend portfolio, this was the update for this month, $533. We're going to hit it hard in February with the first payments coming out in the first week. They'll be announced on 2/5 and we'll get paid on 2/7. That's Coney in the first payment of QDTE. As always, everyone, I appreciate all the support so far. Like the video if you thought this was informational or entertaining. Subscribe to be notified of all of my new videos and comment down below. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like, or your own thoughts on any of the material. I try to respond to every single comment And as always, everyone, thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.